I'm Torben Bach Pedersen. I'm a professor of big data analytics at Aalborg University, Denmark. And I've been asked to talk about what are the hot topics within digital energy. And you might think digital energy, well, energy, it's sort of a physical thing, right? So how does that make sense? And well, I mean, it makes sense that it's sort of an abbreviation for digitalization of the energy sector. So basically this is, of course, we already have an energy sector and it's sort of working and there's a lot of physical process going on. There's also a lot of digital stuff. But what the point is that in many ways these are sort of disconnected little islands that are not connected to each other, that are not standardized, having different kinds of data in different formats and so on. And digital energy is about creating a more unified, completely digitalized, completely connected energy system, cutting across all the actors, all the types of energy. There's electricity, there's heat, there's gas, green gases, and so on. So it's about this whole movement. And of course, there's so many different things, special issues in that wide topic. So one topic is about data. And of course, this is something that I hold dear myself, being a data person. And data, well, the first thing is you need to agree on what does the data mean? What is this data? What if you have some, what is the unit? What are the types? What does it mean? What is, how do you structure it? How do you, is that value the same type as that value? Can you compare them? So basically, you can say modeling or capturing the semantics of all this data. It might sound like an easy thing, and from a technical point of view, it's perhaps not that hard, but from an organizational and point of view, because you have so many companies with so many legacy systems, decades old and so on, and you have so many different and competing ways of doing things, because things were developed at different times for different purposes, and just making a standard out of that, creating some common models. Often they're called ontologies that describe what is the data, how is it structured, how is this the same thing as that, and so on. So just modeling and describing the data is important. The potential benefits, of course, are that if you can do this, then the different actors can collaborate much more smoothly. And you can start making optimizations across the value chain. One thing you're talking a lot about is sector coupling. And in the session we have sector coupling as one of the topics. So this is about coupling the different sectors. And the energy sector is also actually some subsectors in itself. But one very simple example of sector coupling is this coupling between electricity, the electricity sector, electricity production from wind and solar and so on, and transportation, for example, via optimizing the charging of electric vehicles. For price, of course, pretty simple for CO2 emissions, but also to use the most available green energy to sort of minimize the load on the grid and so on. And also, of course, ultimately you need to make sure that the EV owners can have their transportation needs met. But it's a big puzzle to do that. Another kind of sector coupling is between electricity and heat. For example, in Denmark, we often have we have to turn off the wind turbines because there's basically too much electricity on the grid. And what another movement is to have more large heat pumps installed in the district heating plants, so that when there's excess wind power, you can basically convert it into heat and then store it in big, very, very big insulated water tanks, where you then have heat that you can store for weeks or months. As another kind of sector coupling is between electricity and gas, where when you have, again, surplus electricity from solar, from wind, you can convert it into green hydrogen or green ammonium and so on, that you can use in some of the processes that cannot be electrified directly. Yes, this was a lot of stuff about physical processes, but of course to do that you need a lot of data. Yeah. And that's where it comes full circle. And the last thing I want to talk about is flexibility. So flexibility and sector coupling are very related. Flexibility is, in the old energy system, you had power plants based on coal or gas or even worse. With those you could sort of turn up or down the production as the consumption went up or down. With renewable energy it's different. The wind turbines are there when the wind blows, the PV is there when the sun shines and so on. So you have to make the electricity consumption follow the production instead. And the ability to take energy consumption and move it around in time, in amount, turn up or down, perhaps put it into storage, take it back to convert it from electricity to heat and so on. This process is called flexibility. And this is a key to solving this big puzzle of making the renewable production meet the actual energy demands over time and keeping the system in balance. And to do that, you need a lot of data about many things so that you can solve this puzzle. You also need some very advanced techniques based on machine learning and AI and various optimizations. You need markets and so on. And all of that is about digital energy.